I'm a firm believer that your performance is directly related to how much fun you're having.
Welcome to the Motorsports and Driver Development Show. I'm Katie.
And I'm Keto.
And today we are joined with Steve Arpin, who I'm not even going to do your intro. I would like it if you would kick us off and tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
So I am this normal little small town kid that had a huge dream of going racing my whole life, and fortunately ended up in the seat of a wild Ford Fiesta Rallycross car that I'm fortunate enough to drive for Loenbro Motorsports. Have an awesome team over here, awesome sport, awesome to be a part of this sport in the United States. And yes, I'm the team manager for Loenbro Motorsports, one of the drivers for Loenbro Motorsports. Been one of two drivers. Hopefully we'll be one of three drivers here any moment.
Nice. So you just breezed right through that. So you were like a kid and then you landed yourself in the driver's seat. Is that how that works? Should we expect that for our own trajectory?
So I was a kid that just had this. My dad was always a local racer at home, and he was awesome. One of my favorite drivers to ever watch racing was my dad, because he was just crazy. And I got into go-kart racing. I think I was about 10 years old, and I'll never forget the first time I raced. We had the go-kart in the back of the truck on the way home. It was Riverside Speedway, about 45 minutes away in Rainy River. And I just sat there between my parents and backseat, like looking forward, instead of saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" I just kept on telling, it's like, this is all I ever want to do. I want to race for the rest of my life. So my dad's kind of always taught me to apply the business end of things to things on everything I do to make it sustainable. And we're fortunate enough to do that. Went from go-karts and snowmobile racing in the winter times, go-kart and dirt cars in the summertime. And yeah, things just evolved from there. Had a pretty awesome little chassis business, building our own dirt cars for a lot of years. Had the opportunity to go asphalt racing in ARCA and NASCAR. Did that for a few years, and then got a call one day saying, "Hey, you want to go to Brazil and race in the X Games in a rallycross car?" And I said, "Sure." And here we are.
That's so awesome.
Wow. So you said apply the business end to racing. What does that mean for a 10-year-old, and what does that mean for us adults?
Honestly, the motorsports is such a different animal than any other form of professional sports. When it comes to a race team versus being a hockey player, a football player, it's like everyone is so talented in those fields. I'm not taking anything away from that. But on the motorsport side of it, all of the funding, all of the financial end of it is coming through selling essentially the driver and their notoriety and all that kind of stuff. But in that sales of that one person, you have to cover the overhead of a race shop, of an engineering team, of a $300,000 truck and trailer going down the road, of a outrageously overpriced rallycross car that we're racing, and I tend to run into things and cause a lot of damage and have to fix it, and all that kind of stuff. So really having a good grasp on the business side of things, how to generate revenue, how to take care of sponsors. Everything in motorsports nowadays is about sponsorship and about being able to pay for these things. Technology has evolved so much. It doesn't matter how much revenue you earn, you can find something to spend it on just for that next best, coolest, lightest weight, whatever it might be, part. So just really understanding how to take care of your sponsors, how to generate value for your sponsors. The days of just putting their sticker on your car and saying, well, there was 17,442 people that saw your brand. It's like, that doesn't matter anymore with how everything's online, how social media influencers are able to reach so many people. We now, in this form of motorsport, we have to generate sales. We have to figure out a way to not just show that we showed this many people your logo, but we actually drove actual sales that can be legitimately attributed to your race program.
Yes, we talk about that all the time with our competitors. It's so easy to just ask for, hey, give me a sticker and some free parts and I'll represent you. It's like, yeah, that's nice, but that's like a tiny sliver of the puzzle.
Exactly.
You obviously are very involved in this process. I'm curious to know how much of your job is racing and how much is other things.
To be honest with you, so Paul Leach, who's one of the brothers that own the team, one of the two of the Loenbro guys, we were on a call yesterday, and he was telling me I have to get out to Montana to race his dirt car because I don't drive enough to be competitive against all these guys that I'm racing against that race all the time. So right now, I would say probably about 99% of my time is on the business end of things, and less than 1% of my time is actually in the driver's seat. So last year when we started out the year, I had an off season from the last race the year before up until about 2 weeks. I did not drive anything until 2 weeks before the season started, and we just had 2 days of testing. So that's what makes it tough. So, but in that whole time, it's all the preparation, everything that you have to do in the off season is so important that you have it right. So like the more prepared you are leading up to the first race, the more seamless the whole season goes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's one of the biggest things. It's like lots of people think like, oh, you guys have such a long off season. It must be nice. It's like that is the most stressful. My wife hates the off season.
Yeah.
She hates it. I'm tossing and turning every night. I don't sleep at night. Just last night, she actually threatened. It was like a domestic. We need to be careful. She actually threatened me in my sleep that if I keep on moving, she's going to punch me. No way. She's just
this can be your evidence. You can take that to the police.
Right?
Jeez.
So yeah, let me ask you, out of that 99% that's business, what percentage of that is getting sponsors or maintaining sponsor relationships?
Well, to be totally honest with you, one of the reasons why we ended up with our own team with the Loenbro guys is they were involved with me getting to see the background of everything, how everything works within the industry, and all the way through the dirt days, the NASCAR days, and obviously now that we started our own team on the Rallycross. And one of the biggest reasons we have our own team is simply because we wanted to really make sure to take care of our partners, the partners that we actually have, to the best of our abilities, and not just take advantage of them once we get them in the door and then focus. It's like, all right, we got them, now let's focus on the next. So that being said, virtually everything we do on that side of things is you're obviously always trying to make new relationships and everything, but the biggest thing we try and do is just to satisfy our current partners, look at what we promised them, then figure out how to blow that out of the water and give them so much more than we actually promised. And that's virtually everything we do, and every decision that we make for the team is at least some way or another influenced with that in mind.
Right. So yeah, we're always telling people under promise, over deliver with your sponsors. But now let me kind of roll that into something else. How important is like your performance out on the track in relationship to your sponsors versus like how well you promote them, say on social media, or, to them, what's that return on investment? Is it more about like, your influencer brand, or is it more about what you do on track and winning? How's that mix?
That's honestly a moving target. It's first and foremost, winning never hurts a thing, right? You're not going to go to me. It's like, why'd you win again, Steve?
Right.
It's not going to be a detriment to you by any means. But the other side of that is you really have to look at each individual partner's goals. Like, what are they trying to accomplish? Some is the branding aspect of it. Some is just developing their brand and getting their name on TV and using those discount codes and everything you have to actually drive sales. And the more you're on TV, the more people you reach. For other partners, it's all about the experience and taking some of their valued customers or potential customers that they're trying to close and bringing them to the racetrack with us and giving them just an absolutely one-of-a-kind, up-close and personal VIP experience, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it be sitting in my car to giving them a ride along around the racetrack, launching over the gap jumps an hour before we start practice and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. So like that's one of the things that's so unique about our sport. Mm-hmm. But that being said, like when you look at it all and when you're sitting there evaluating the program, it has to be a balance of all of those things. It has to be a balance of performance, a balance of how many people you connect with on social media, a balance of engagement, all that kind of stuff, a balance of what you do for them at the racetrack, off the track as well as on the track, what kind of experiences you're providing. And it's like, so that all those things complete the pie It just for each individual partner, those individual slices may be proportioned differently.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about race weekend. You are more than just a driver that shows up. You manage the team. You do have all these partners. Let's actually start with the prep. What does the prep for a race weekend look like?
Chaos. You want me to be honest? No, it's so one of the things that we've done here with our program is we have got the best group of people put together with our race team, and I mentioned a little bit earlier about talking about doing it right and taking care of our partners, and the other side of that was getting the right people and treating those people right. And we have put together the best group of guys, and some people take offense to it. Like when we were up at Mid-Ohio last year, we were sitting there and I was on the podium it was actually two of our guys, both myself and Travis Picoy, on the podium with one of the Subarus. And it's like, we're sitting there and we've got our little group that was kind of over there, and it was all of both of our teams, my teammate Travis Picoy and I, and there was like 8 guys, right? And then we look over to the one Subaru that was on the podium, and he has just a swarm of blue shirts, like everywhere. And I'm like, and I wasn't dissing them by any means, but it's like, look at what we're able to accomplish with a tiny fraction of the people. And that's just a testament to how great a group of people we have. So that being said, a race weekend for us is everyone knows what their responsibilities are and their teammates' responsibilities, all of our guys. Nobody puts the other guy down. Everyone picks each other up, and if one guy's slacking, the other guys will pick up for him, and we all know it's going to come full circle. So things typically run pretty smoothly from that aspect. From my standpoint, I think having relatively severe cases of ADD is a little bit of a prerequisite for being a race car driver. And I've got, so Carl Goodman's our team engineer, and so much more than that. He's really the team manager from that. I do the business side of things. He does all the technical competition side of things. And he's just got this kind of way about him that when it comes to race weekends, he'll just kind of walk up to me and give me one of his looks. And it's like when I was a kid and I was going to get in trouble, and my mom looked at me and I knew it's like, all right, time to come in and eat dinner type thing, right? So when it comes time to get ready to go out on the track or get ready to have to focus and shut off the sponsorship hospitality side of things and just go, it's like, all right, where are we at? What do I need to improve from last time? And just get back into race mode. Yeah. He's got that way that he can just kind of pull me aside and know when we got to focus on that. So it's one of those things where it's a full pie, and those different pieces of the pie just get divided up given the circumstances we're facing every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since we're talking about racing, why don't you give us an update on Nitro Circus? What's happening there?
I may or may not have heard a little interview with Travis with some details.
100 trillion billion dollar question right now, right? What's happening with Rallycross the United States? Well, honestly, I was thrilled to see Travis put that interview out. So COVID-19 has definitely not helped the situation here much, right? No. We've got our shop open back up again. We're back to work here. Everything was just coming together perfectly. And then what do you have when a global pandemic hits? So everything kind of got sidelined a little bit, but obviously Travis has kind of put the teasers out there. They've done an absolutely incredible job the last 2 years, putting together kind of like a proof of concept and just putting together what Travis's vision for what Rallycross can be in the United States, and running 2 standalone events the last couple of years. And that being said, when the opportunity kind of came up when IMG was stepping away from operating the ARX here in the United States, Travis, being Travis, looked at that as an opportunity to take Rallycross and ultimately turn it into what it has the potential to be. It's been a rough road, to say the least. There's no point in sugarcoating it, right? It's been a rough road since GRC went away. I believe we had an amazing thing with GRC, and things were going the right direction very quickly, and just a shame that went away. And then we had a rough couple of years with ARX, and So Travis and his whole group over there at Nitro, there's been so much going on, and I wish we could share everything with all the Rallycross fans and rally fans out there. But like on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, it's like everything is moving forward. All the plans are coming together. And one of the reasons why it's taking longer than expected is because since Travis and his crew have got involved, there's been so many new opportunities presenting themselves for getting Rallycross back up. It's like it was here, then it went to here, then kind of fell down to here. Well, we have the opportunity right now to bring it way back up to here. And with all these people getting involved and then COVID-19 hitting, it never changed anyone's plans. It ultimately just hit the pause button for a couple months as we get through this. But on the back end of this thing, there's going to be, if everything comes together, which it looks like it's really going to, everyone is all in, everyone is committed, we could be back to where things were when Red Bull Global Rallycross was exploding, and doing that in a newer, bigger, better way with permanent racetracks around the country. We're launching over gap jumps everywhere we go, big, extreme, just taking everything, all the best pieces of everything that we've loved about rally throughout the years, and then putting that Pastrana twist on it, which just makes it insane, and going from there. So yeah, all that in a nutshell is Nitro Circus is like in the womb right now, being formed and molded and built, and hopefully it's going to come out and be announced as a whole really quick.
Yeah, it's awesome that you guys have been involved with it for the whole run, because I'm kind of projecting, but I assume that means you get to learn a little bit from the other series, what they did super well, what you could have done better, and apply those things. So even though it maybe has gone down a little bit and back up, it's kind of all over the place. You guys, I would hope and assume that you're going to reap the benefits of that and really take the good pieces.
And if we don't, we ought to be shot. Like, yeah, that's in everything that you go through and every challenge that you go through, there's always opportunity, right? And it may not be what works, but learning what doesn't work sometimes is even more valuable. And that's always a bigger, if you look at your like stacks in your list, it's like this worked and this didn't. What didn't work is always way bigger than what worked, right? Yeah. So understanding that side of stuff and going through that, understanding what markets work, what markets don't work, where true rally fans are and rallycross fans are around the country, and kind of filling those pockets is important. And we've definitely learned that over the years. And all of those things and all of our discussions with the series, with the Nitro group, with everyone that's looking to be involved, manufacturers re-looking at the space and everything, it's just exciting.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. We're really happy to hear that you guys are still pushing it forward. Talk to us a little bit about, so I'll connect the dots before I ask the question. Our competitors, they generally race in our style of rallycross, which is there's the rallycross that's an open grass field, and then there's the kind of rallycross you guys do wheel to wheel. We have sort of an in-between. We work in like some little jumps. We have some cool like terrain, all that sort of stuff, but you're out there by yourself. We have competitors who go from that into rally sprints, into stage rally. And the transition between all of them can be a little bit challenging. You learn car control in one, or you set your car up for another, and you're navigating back and forth between these different sports. I would love to hear your experience, sort of maybe some good lessons learned or some things you did poorly as you moved through the different kinds of racing that you've done.
Well, if we're going to talk about all the things I did poorly, we're going to have to extend this interview a while. No, honestly, that's a great question. And I will say I've been fortunate enough to race a lot of different disciplines, whether it be in the snowmobiles in the wintertime, go-karts, oh God, everything, right? USAC Silver Crown cars, mini sprints, modifieds, late models, ARCA cars, trucks, Xfinity cars, lots of Cup Series testing, so on and so forth. And I've been fortunate to run a lot of different things, but switching to an all-wheel drive rallycross car was a completely different animal. So one of the things that I say you learn across everything is racecraft, and learning how to race, learning how to drive in traffic, learning how to evaluate your competitors' weaknesses and know where your strengths are to kind of pounce on those areas while you're on the racetrack. That's something that you just have to learn each and every time you're on the track, whatever it might be, whether you're on your own or in a competitive setting. The other side of that is just car control as a whole, and the biggest thing that I found that's helped me kind of switch from discipline to discipline is, and this may be different for other people, but for me, I have to understand why, right? Like, and I can't just like memorize something and try and remember it and just that's that because of that. It's like I have to know exactly why something's happening, right? Like if my car's reacting a certain way, if there's a suspension change that we did, an adjustment that we made, if it did this, I need to know exactly why it did that, so that down the road, if it happens in a little bit of a different setting or a little different, whatever it might be, I can run through what's going on and just apply that to my feedback to the crew chief and engineers to give them a fighting chance and providing me the car that I need to go out there and win. So I would say the biggest thing from jumping between everything is really just focusing on learning and understanding the car, every aspect of the car, how the suspension works, how the adjustments affect the car, how when the track changes it affects the car, so on and so forth. So you understand why things happen, and that just, if you have a genuine understanding of why, it'll help you adjust that much faster.
Mm. So you talked about all these different types of racing, and I know in that style rallycross, you get a lot of X-stage guys, think like Patrick Sandell or David Higgins or somebody like that. When are we going to see you in stage?
He is great.
Oh, wait, say that again.
I love David Higgins. That man is just a great man.
Yeah.
When are you going to see me in stage?
Yeah.
As soon as I grow enough guts to be able to go out there and hit a tree, right?
Wait, so you'll jump a big jump with a concrete wall on one side, but a tree is daunting?
Right. I'm just kidding. I'm not really kidding, actually. But I would absolutely love to. It would be something that I would love the opportunity. I got to talk. So we do a lot with Ken Block. He's one of my teammates here at Loenbro Motorsports. And I got to go out there and get a ride with him in the Causey when they're doing some of these tests, just to understand it. My biggest thing, I've never done it, never been to a stage rally, never got to experience any aspect of that. So it would be super cool. It'd be a thrill to come and try it and yeah, just kind of creep up on it.
I love that.
Yeah, we should get you out there.
But I will say, I would much rather hit a concrete wall than I would hitting a tree.
Huh. I think I'd rather hit a tree.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I always say you stage rally guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Well, the tree's more likely to move.
I've moved some concrete walls before. Yeah. Is that a challenge?
I know, right? We've had a couple moved at our events. We're like, wow, didn't know that was going to move when that got hit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so funny.
It's fascinating because I sit here and I think this is normal to me, right? And it's like, this is my background on my phone.
Right.
And I think that, and we have two UFC fighters in there with us who were screaming like little girls. It was great. It's the only
As
time
passengers?
Yeah, it's the only time in my life I could say I made a UFC guy scream.
Let's talk a little bit back to sponsor stuff. So there's this new group of sponsors you're coming on with the lifting of prohibition of marijuana and all the products that come out of that, like CBD and hemp and so on. And I know that you're sponsored by a CBD company. Well, can you talk a little bit about that? Have you got any? Yeah, there you go. Have you got any like?
My elbow is killing me, and this CBD freeze, the CBDMD freeze, is remarkable stuff. I was actually putting some on right before we started this. No, but it's a great product. It's a great industry. I think it gets associated. The CBD industry gets associated with marijuana. I think a little bit too much. It's you get all the medical benefits that come with marijuana from the CBD aspect of it, without the high, without the hallucinogenic side of it. So it is legal within the industry to have 0.3% THC, but what you will find, which will flag up if you're getting drug tested or anything with work, but what you will find is if you go, there's a few, I should say, of the higher end CBD brands that go that extra mile on the processing side of it on the front end. Like CBDMD, for example, has absolutely zero THC. THC free. So I take it. We get drug tested with Rallycross. Athletes take it all the time. For me, it's like I said, it's a prerequisite to have like a severe case of ADD and all that kind of stuff. I've been rough on my body throughout the years, and it's been game changing for me. And whether they're my sponsor or not, I'm going to be using CBD products going forward for sure. And then on the other side of it, it's like we got so much stuff going on, and this has been the fun side of it. Like SCT, for example, with their tuners and everything, we have some downtime right now, right? We're sitting around, we don't have much to do, and I've got my Explorer, we got the team trucks and everything. I think we're gonna start taking stuff out to the drag strip and putting special tunes and everything in it just to have some fun. So, and check out our social media pages stuff, because we're gonna be doing all sorts of fun giveaways and all that. And while we're kind of stuck at home, there's no better time than just be playing with your vehicle out back, putting some custom tunes in it, maximizing. The best part about SCT stuff is you just you're taking essentially what the manufacturer has built and you're fine tuning that. So it's like an F-150, for example. It's built to kind of be off-roading a little bit, like out getting to a job site or something, or loading it full of hay bales or whatever you're going to haul out to the farm, or just running to the grocery store. So the mapping that you have in a factory vehicle is made to cover such a wide range of applications. And what the SCT products do is they allow you to really kind of lock in and hone in on capitalizing exactly what you want to do and just getting the most out of your application rather than a little bit of everything. So we've been having a lot of fun with that, and we're going to be giving away a lot of their products and everything. Actually, here's one of their new ones right now. We're going to get right away.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah, I actually run the SCT live wire on my Super Duty. And what's great about it too is, like, you know, if you go to bigger wheels and tires or something like that, you can just go in and recalibrate your speedometer. You know, I have a tow map that does a little better for towing, and then an economy map. And so, yeah, I mean, I use that product as well. So,
and that's one of the biggest things. Like, people, typically the first thing a guy does when he gets his truck, if you're going to do anything to it, is tires and wheels, right? And the first thing you have to do after that is recalibrate everything. So, and that's a perfect use for an SCT product right there.
That's so funny. I was like, that looks familiar. I think that's in your truck. So let's talk a little bit about that. So we are all at home. We can't go out and race. Well, we're about to start racing again, but for a while we haven't been able to. Did you have to sit down with your sponsors and say, like, let's kind of shift gears a little bit about what we're going to do in these next couple months while everybody's at home? Or like, how did you address that?
It's definitely a challenge. I'm not gonna lie, it's the most challenging time we've ever had in my career of motorsports. But that being said, it's one of those things. We are all in this together. We're doing what we have to do. And the best part about all of our partners is it is like family, and we're working through it together. We're gonna have to take some breaks with some partners and allow business to kind of regroup and everything, and allow things to come back. And for other partners, it's a perfect time to capitalize on the opportunity of coming back. We're going to come back bigger and stronger than we ever were before. So it's definitely been a challenge, but everyone has their own set of challenges that are derived from it. So once again, we just have to look at every situation individually and capitalize on that. Yeah,
it definitely has been an interesting time to be creative and to tap into things you don't usually tap into, which I think we've all kind of had to do. I feel like we're bouncing around a little bit. That's totally fine. You mentioned earlier that you don't.
ADD is.
I know. The challenge is like between the three of us, the conversation may not be super linear. So you talked a little bit about how you can go an entire off season without being in the car, and and then 2 weeks out or a couple days out, you're practicing, you're testing, whatever. What do you do to try and stay fresh on your skills when you can't go race?
To be honest with you, it's something that I have to get better at, because it's something that it's been one of my weaknesses. Obviously iRacing has really taken off recently, and I don't have a rig. I used to have a rig. I've always sucked at video games. I've been so bad at video games. And online just isn't the same as being real when you can't feel it and everything. So, but I'm looking at a rig to get back into that right now. Probably got to look at that. And like I said earlier, I'm gonna work at just kind of going back to my roots and getting back into the dirt modifieds and doing more dirt racing around the country as much as I can. Just the biggest thing is it doesn't matter what you're in. I don't have to be in a rally car or rallycross car. I just have to be in something, and just keeping your instincts fresh, keeping your reaction time fresh, keeping all that fresh. And the biggest thing is just having fun. Like this sport, I'm a firm believer that your performance is directly related to how much fun you're having. And if you're miserable, not enjoying it and everything, you're not going to be putting your all into it. And when you're racing against guys at the level we're racing at, if you don't have your all into it and you're not all on all the time, like it's tough. These guys are good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I've been to some of these rallycross races, GRC, ARX things, and it seems like, you look in the pits and it's a little bit of controlled chaos right before a heat gets started. Do you have anything you do to sort of find your center before you hop in the car, take a minute, listen to some music? And, you see different guys doing different things. I've even seen racers who fall asleep for 5 minutes just to cool down. So.
I just love the fact that you get the impression that you're sitting there watching it and you think it's controlled. So.
I was trying to be nice.
It isn't. It's just pure chaos. I'm just kidding. But honestly, again, that all depends, because there's lots of times where I'm right in the middle of sponsor stuff, giving a tour of our rig, talking to guests, whatever it might be, and sprinting to the car. There's other times when Carl, we share a desk, he's right back over here.
Oh, is that the chair that's been moving?
That's the chair that's moving back around. So there's other times that with him, he knows when I'm a little bit spun out and just kind of like bouncing around a little bit too much, that he has to pull me aside and just kind of send me to pre-grid or something so I get away from everything and chill out. At those times, there's times where I just sit in the car and don't talk to anyone, or just kind of mix and mingle and just be goofy and silly with all the guys that we're racing with and all the crew guys that are open staging. So it varies for me. There's no, it's not like before every race I put on a certain song and sit there and start jamming out and headbanging by myself off to the side or anything like that, or jumping around, hitting myself in the head and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny because you got to watch Patrick Sandell before a race.
Oh.
He is jumping around. I swear to God, he bruises himself. He hits himself so hard. And he is just getting himself wound right up. It is awesome. I'm going to start selling tickets to be able to watch this before.
We should have him on the show. Be like, so tell us about your pre-race routine.
Oh,
show us.
Give him he brings a cooler to pre-grid with his helmet in it full of ice. And then he takes the dripping wet helmet out of the cooler and puts it on. It's like, it gives me like a brain freeze just watching it.
A wet helmet?
Yeah.
So cold. Interesting.
It is remarkable.
Huh. So have you done any tracking of the days where you're sitting in the car quietly before you race versus being pulled away from a sponsor thing and you're sprinting to the race? Like, do you perform better under one circumstance or another?
I personally think I perform better under pressure. Definitely think that. I think I perform best when I have the least amount of time to sit there and think about everything. Yeah, so I think that's part of it for me, is just kind of really kind of my happy place is just kind of interacting with people, enjoying it. And genuinely, I just feel so fortunate to be doing what I'm doing. And I feel so fortunate, and I feel like it's my responsibility to, as much as I can, share my experiences and share the opportunities that I've had with other people that aren't so lucky, that just want to be there and hear about it and feel like they're a small part of it. You know what I mean? So as much as I can have the opportunity to be offering that to people, it's honestly just what makes my day. And then you hear back, you get messages from kids or something the next week, or parents saying, my kid's still talking about this, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I told you before we started recording, you came and met a group of our drivers at GRC. Was that 3-4 years ago? I don't even know how long ago that was. And they still talk about it. They're like, that was so cool. He came and hung out with us for like 30 minutes, which, side note, I'm now thinking somebody had to probably come grab you and get you back in the car because you were BSing with us.
I was missing the driver's meeting, actually. I remember that.
That's awesome.
I love it. Oh, my God.
Once again, Carl.
But you made an impact on a lot of people, and we still hear like, oh, somebody comes out for their first race. We try and meet them personally and talk to them about how they got there. And they say like, oh yeah, I came out and I saw you guys at GRC and, Steve was there and whatever, it makes an impact on people.
Yeah, it did. Made a huge impact.
Yeah. So we could probably talk to you forever. Let's kind of wind it down. I would love to hear and maybe it was your dad when you were 10, some great advice that you got along the way that's really like stuck with you in your career.
Whew. Do the right thing. Honestly, and I think it's more life than more so just racing. Yeah. But the first thing in motorsports is you just got to be having fun. We kind of touched on that, but do the right thing and just treat people right. And that's been, I genuinely believe that is why I'm still racing today, is just treating people right. There's opportunity to better yourself and at the expense of someone else. Obviously that's business, that's competition to some extent, but doing it the wrong way is just not cool. So yeah, for me, just doing the right thing. And my dad's always instilled that in me. And then since we've partnered up with Paul and John Leach, that's how they run their entire Loenbro business. It's actually one of their mottos in their company statements.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's
I would agree.
Yeah, and I'll add on to it the thing that kind of but just happens is do the right thing even when it's the hard thing.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And the right thing is often the hard thing. That's the worst part.
I feel like that's a grown-up lesson I just keep learning over and over again.
Yeah,
but
I would
it never fails, right? Like it may not fit your plans immediate, but like when things come full circle, it might be a week, it might be 6 months, it might be 5 years, but doing the right thing always pays off in the end.
I agree.
Well, we'll end on that because that's the best. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you very much.
Where can people find you online?
Honestly, for me, it's we had a website for a while, but now we just stick with everything on social media. So Steve Arpin Racing on Facebook or Arpin00 on Instagram. And we like to have some fun, so just come hang out.
Okay. And you said that you guys are going to have a giveaway. That's all going to be through social media?
Oh yeah, we're going to be doing that all summer long. So just keep up with our social media. We've got the pins. We've been doing pins. They've turned out to be a hit. I don't even know if we've released the new Holler pins yet. I think I got one laying around here somewhere. I did. No, I don't. Oh yeah, check out these little guys.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so how does one get one of those?
You have to enter to win.
So that'll all be on our social media. Keep track of all that. Here's the SCT car coming
nice.
in.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
And stuff like that. So yeah, we got all sorts of cool stuff there. SCT products, CBD products, everything that we've got going on. We just love to share with our fans. We've got some cool decal sheets that we just had made with all of our different paint schemes on it. Mine, Picoys, Michael Leach's, our little lights driver. We've got Ken Blocks on there, cutouts of the truck and trailer, everything. So we got all sorts of fun stuff. We're going to be trying to keep engaged with everyone all year long.
Yes.
There you go.
So good. Well, thank you for your time today. Thank you for always being such a great steward to the sport. It's always wonderful to have you.
Thanks for wanting to talk to some little guy like me. It was fun.